What goes on? How's everybody doing? We made it to FOMC midday. Amazing.
Going on with
What's up? What's up? Who's this?
this angel. Hope you're feeling better, man. Pray for you.
Oh man, huh. I'm doing better right now than in the morning. It's my shoulders seems to settle down.
Yeah,
That's
I was hearing you earlier. It's definitely heat related. When you're hot, it's like a little more ease on the body and the fascia and the bones. And then when it's cold, it's like everything shrinks. It's tightened up.
yeah.
It's yeah,
That's exactly how it is. I was just outside by the pool and it was just started getting better and like cozy and now I'm back inside. But for now, I don't really feel it tightening up. It's kind of I've stretched it. Morning sucks. Every morning is just the worst.
yeah. I bet.
All right, let's see what we got going on. We got FOMC coming up. Things will get interesting. Let's see. We're not expecting a rate change, right? So I think everything that's happening right now is sort of priced in. Like unless by some freaking miracle, I don't know what Trump has to do to get a rate change. out of Jerome Powell. But here's what I will expect here. I'm really looking as we're on our last 5-minute candle before the news drops here. We should see the market, right, squeezing a little bit, which is what it's doing right now, right? It was pushing, and the last 2 5-minute candles, 3 5-minute candles have all been kind of in the same spot. So we're in a bit of squeeze mode, and I think once the news drops, we should get an aggressive push. I honestly think even if the rates like stay the same, right? Even if it's priced in, even if it's expected, we're gonna see volume pump in here, and I would expect that to finally, hopefully, get us out of this daily range, wick to wick here. Right? This has sucked here recently. Look at this. This is the entire week, actually, I believe. Right? This is the entire week. This is how we started the week, and this has been the 4-hour range. So hopefully this volume will get us out of here. Right? And then maybe 5 to 15 minutes after, as the dust starts to settle, right, we'll get a true directional move. But this has been, right, this has been kind of playing the role of the lid on the market. This level here, it's kind of been playing the resistance role there. So I think that's where we really want to get above. More people at the Zoom door. Come on in. Let's mark up some levels here. Although this is ugly. This sucks to it. This even sucks to mark up. All right, we go to the most recent levels. Yeah, I don't even know if I would consider 04 a level here, but we got 34.11 right now, 34.11, 34.10 area playing as the lid on the market right now. 2 minutes for news. Let's see. The thing is, if this is what's expected and we're priced in and we've been moving down here, I want to be very careful of the push up here, right? Because as we start tapping these highs here, there's a lot of heavy resistance running across the board here. All that. Start heading up here. Be wary of a fake out off any of these levels. Come back down. So yeah, let's wait for the market to really push out of here. 1 minute to go for this. Also understand this is typically a very volatile news folder, right? So if I were you, gang, I would probably size down, because being wrong during a very unforgiving time on an unforgiving pair can be exactly that, very unforgiving. But in my experience, FOMC loves to humble over-leveraged traders. That's what it's here for. It's here to really not make you money. It's here to humble you. I don't even know what the level above here would be, right? This is so arbitrary. This is just choppy. Oh. And 450. Yep. uh, and nothing new. Careful, kid. This is the ride I was just talking about. Be very careful of this push up here. This is going to have to sustain bullish momentum and blast through this area above 16 or maybe even above 17. Anything just wicking into this area, highly likely to come back down. I can't bank on it, but it's highly likely. This is that fake out area where market can wick into and just drive back down. So be careful of any breaks of highs in this area. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So how we used to trade last year, right? We would take this re-break of the high here, but I would be very careful because the re-break of the low will fucking take you down. I want to let this dust settle here. This is just what it's doing is it's stopping people out right now. It's taking orders just to stop you out. There's no market direction just yet. Rates stay the same. Yeah, like that was, we knew that. We were 99.9% sure that was what's going to happen. It's only been the first 2 minutes here. People at the Zoom, though. Rates stay the same. I mean, look, if this is priced in, right? I mean, if I think the entire world expected the rates to stay the same. So, what is this? What is this influenced by? What is all of this up and down movement influenced by? If everybody knew, rates will stay the same. Right? There's going to be discussion. There's going to be a Powell speech, correct? So a lot's going to depend, I guess, on his tone and his outlook. Because this can go one of two ways, right? He can either say, you know, the market's still iffy, or he could say, well, you know, maybe in the future I see rate cuts. So it depends on what kind of signal he gives in the speech. If he says something like possible rate cut, you got to listen to the speech probably too. If he says something like possible rate cuts, apparently they're saying they will have to cut rates this year. So if that's what he says, and that comes out of his mouth, expect the markets to rally, right? But if he says, I'm probably not looking likely, we're probably going to see this plummet.
Hey, Wix, yeah, not to cut rates, but two EWO, two actual cuts this year. That's what they're saying should be happening.
Two cuts this
But
year.
right now, Yeah, they're saying that they're still expecting 2 cuts this year,
So,
but not right now.
Who said that? Powell said that?
Yeah, it's on what the report is, and then they'll talk about it at 2:30. That is what the expectation
Once he
was.
starts speaking and voices that into existence, I think we're going to see the markets rally.
I think that might be the solution. What happens is obviously the gold will dump and then indices will pop, but that's what they're saying. So the Federal Reserve on Wednesday kept the interest rate steady amid expectations of higher inflation and lower economic growth ahead, and still pointed to 2 reductions later this year. It would be in the range of 425 to 450. So that's what they're looking at. But they're saying obviously that with the market expecting no chance of a central bank move this week, the Federal Committee kept its key rate borrowing rate at 425 to 450, and they're looking at possibly lowering it twice this year. So that's what we're talking about. That's the only thing. But I think they said that also the last FOMC, which was what, 2 months ago? I think they said that the same thing at that time.
I think they weren't expecting to lower rates next time.
But I don't know why.
But if they're expecting to lower rates next time around now, this will, I think gold will rally.
Really? Okay. Okay. I don't know why they didn't lower the rates, to be honest with you. I mean,
oh man,
this
is good for look for a swing here, 220 pip stop.
For a buy or a sell? No, for a buy.
For a buy.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here.
If this shit rallies, right? If he's bullish here, like an entry here would just make sense. This is just heavy. So this is dumb stops over 200 pips.
Would you not take the rebreak of that? Because I know that's what we used to do. Would you not take the rebreak of the highs?
No, remember I said no. Remember what I told you earlier. Be careful of this whole area. You want to see the market rally? That means you don't want to see the market hold at all in this area as it's coming up here. You don't want to see that pull. Like you want to see this just blast right through it. This this play in here right now that it's wicking into there, pulling back. That scares me. You know what I mean? That I want to be. Let's get above everything. Right? Let's get this fucking drive to come up, create a new range up here. Right? And it might do that fast, it might do that slow, but I don't think I'll trade it in here. I'll wait for all of this. Right? All of this to play out. Maybe get in somewhere here on a smaller time frame.
Whenever news play, it kind of remind me of like the orb in the morning, because it like gives you a high, gives you a low, and then most likely when one of those are broken, that's when you go to the opposite way. Not all the time, but
not all the time. But last year it
reminds me of that. Every time news come out,
we made a shit ton on news on the rebreak of the initial push of the news. So we had the initial bullish right there, right? We would have been on the entry here, but we stopped doing that once Trump got elected. But technically we'd be in here right now with a maybe roughly 100 pip stop right now.
Yeah,
I just don't trust
I took a couple of those with you. I blew a couple accounts on those as well. The rebreak.
So we stopped doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanna just blow past this area. I don't like this whole wicking into here and coming back down. This needs to either drive straight through. There's gonna be no trading in this.
All those 15s go back to like the 16th, 17th of June, a couple of days back. All that whole box area. That's a big ass consolidation. That's what we've been trading.
That's from the beginning of this week. This whole week has been there. 16th is Sunday, right?
I think so, yeah.
Or Monday.
Yeah. Finally in here, man. Appreciate you, Wix. Never told you, man, but thank you, man. Been with you already like 2 years, man. Watching you on your stream. Started with Don, and then I liked the way you traded better, so then I started following you, and I'm still around, man. Still trying to make it happen. Blew like 10 or 15 fundeds with Apex. Had them. I can pass them with ease. It's just a walking away.
I feel like everyone that trades right now is just a mixture of like what's been on YouTube, social media for the last 3-4 years. Everyone kind of has
you've
like
been
a mix of
dominating.
all the styles. Everyone in the clubhouse, everyone's got like a, they'll throw in a no wick closure and an FVG or whatever the shit's called.
Hell yeah.
I'd be like, damn, it's just a bunch of styles combined.
Nah.
Like,
Wix is, I never heard nobody talk about Wix before y'all, and I've been trading 5 years. Nobody before that, like talking about the Wix and the way you was utilizing them. Nah, nobody. Not really.
this is scary now,
Until
though.
you start doing that, John.
Look at this range. This is exactly the red zone we just keep drawing out. See, it keeps rejecting from that area. Be fucking careful. It's trapping people. Once it blows past this, right, then you're good. This is just a trap buyers here.
And look at that. If we had taken the rebreak of the highs, we'd be up 10 pips, and then in drawdown right now, what, 40 pips? Yeah.
This whole area sucks.
When people ask, why did you change the way you trade? Well, this is why. Now you guys can see it. You got to adapt to the new situation, Trump being in power.
This is tough though, like, because when is his speech? 20 minutes, right? Because we can break the lows here, grab orders, and then start the whole rally. But if that's what he's gonna say, then I'm pretty sure we're gonna head up here. Fundamentals will come into play, right? And give you direction, but the entry's got to come off the technicals. Trump over there playing Risk in real life. What was that shit called? Age of Empires?
I heard a majority of that man's net worth is in crypto now. He did some things with crypto, and he got like
he's a big supporter of crypto. Plus, he's got that World Liberty Financial. Like, I mean, it's the guys running that are pretty, well entrenched in the space. Like, it's good.
Yeah, you can't take that from Trump. That savviness, Trump's a monster with that. You can say what you want, but the savviness
he does
that
it
he
according
got,
to the rules. You know what I mean? Like, it's there for him.
exactly.
He takes advantage of whatever rules they are. Remember when he was running the first time talking about tax breaks? He's like, man, you don't want me to, take advantage of the tax code? Change the tax code.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just working within the rules. Oh, wait, hold on. My kids are in the pool. They're calling me. What's up? What's up? Don't want to be in the pool anymore? Dry off. Go ahead, dry off. I'll get you. You want to come out of the pool? All right, so you can stay in. All right, well, she's going to be there to dry off for a little bit. Not yet. You need to dry off in the sun. You going to walk in here like a shaggy dog? No.
Not the wet mop head look. It's baking out here today in Philly. It's like 85 muggy.
85 muggy.
Damn,
that's the worst. Like, you'll be at a bus stop and a bus pull up, and it's all that heat from the engine. I remember doing that shit in New York on a summer day. Walking into the subway on a hot, muggy day. Like, man.
I don't miss those days. Thank God for my hoodie. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta find some towels for these kids.
$15, not even respecting $3.92.
We moving? Still in this shitty ass range.
Yeah, it's not even respecting that mini
I think once he starts speaking, once people get a feel for his sorry, I'm gonna move him, don't worry. Once people get a feel for Powell's like tone and his outlook, we'll start seeing movement. Benny, come here. Come here. This dog, he's by the pool walking around, doesn't want to come next to me because he thinks I'm gonna drag him in, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. Smart dog. Now let's go back inside.
He's super smart. He's like, no more locked doors.
Go inside, bro. Yeah, breathing in that 100-year-old subway, like you're literally breathing in the ashes of every New York City rat that's ever like perished there. It's like being blown around in the dust. So you're breathing.
Yeah, I know SEPTA sucks. And Philly, that shit's trash. They be hitting people, hitting cars. They be crazy. Transportation ain't that great over there. Then they got the cameras. They drive by you and you parked on the bus stop. The camera will take a picture of your tag and send you the ticket.
Yeah.
SEPTA crazy. Phillies, they just, oh man, they just try to beat you for everything.
Oh yeah. Hey, GJ.
How about new?
How about you?
All your Johns hit, you know that, right? Wait, if nobody ever tell you, all them Johns you be playing, they all hit. That one, the scary song, all them Johns be hitting.
How's it go? Do it again. How's it go?
It be like some shit you be having, like X-Files. That shit take me back to my young days. I'm 39, I'll be 40 in August.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it takes me back to those days.
1 month older than me.
Yeah. Don't say that. I feel old now. Crazy. No, I still feel young, though. Still feel young. Working out, man. Working out for the last 10, 15 years straight.
Oh, word? You working out?
Instagram is Iron Chasers Ainge. Yeah, so I've been doing this.
I can't lift the fucking spoon right now.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm over here talking about games and shit. My bad.
So working out.
Yeah, you'll be back there though, and you get your shit fast back. Like
curling this pen right now, dog.
You feel old. You haven't even hit 40, bro. Get into the mid 40s, then you can talk about
Oh, here comes the old
you're still in your 30s, bro. What the hell?
Oh, shit. My bad, Jay. My bad, man. You're right. I'm still young. I'm still a baby.
Look up, Bougie.
Go inside and change.
Wait, what's up? Bougie in the house. What's up, Bougie?
Yeah, go inside and change. Go.
Oh man, yeah, I wanted to go to the gym today, but didn't have a chance with running, going to get groceries, and the stream and the FOMC.
No,
But,
yeah, this sounds definitely addictive. I got one in my crib. I got a studio basement. I paid like $600 for rent. Thank God. And
that's legit.
I got a stand-up rack in there. I got hundreds. I got 90. All my equipment that I got in my room right now / little apartment is on my Instagram and shit. You can see my hundreds, my squat rack, my deadlift bar, my hex bar, dumbbells. I got basic stuff, but everything. So I got like 4 or 5 in plates and weights. Then I got like 2 dumbbells that go from 10 to 90. I got 200-pound dumbbells that can go down to 500. Got a couple things. Yeah, so it looks at me in the morning. You be doing this before every set? I work out every 2 days. Right now I'm on like 2 muscles every 2 days. Chest and triceps, back and biceps, shoulders and legs, and then I chill type shit. So I definitely be working out before, and then when I lose, I punish myself and I work out hard.
I mean, that's legit. I mean, I work out too, but man, I gotta cut down on the food, man, because I'm gaining weight and I'm not burning as much as I should.
Yeah, no,
It's
food is
not
key
easy.
for sure. Food is definitely key. That's the whole science to everything. The food. It's
Bro,
like a car. You're not gonna put water in your car. You're gonna put gasoline in your car. So you gotta put the
Ah,
right
I
amount
know
of
somebody
food
that
in
put
you.
water in their shit.
And it probably works. He got a
Nah,
hydro
nah, nah, nah,
tank.
nah, nah. I went to high school with Sebastian Telfair. And he
I
played
remember the name
he
too.
played in the NBA, for those of you who don't know, straight out of high school. So we went to high school together, and Stephon Marbury gifted him a BMW 645 when that just dropped in like 2002, I think.
Hmm.
And he ran out of gas on the highway coming to practice, and I remember him calling coach, talking about he ain't gonna make it because he blew the engine on the 645 because he filled it up with water when he ran out of gas on the highway.
Nah.
Nah.
Yeah, like
What?
it's the
Yo,
first, the
what's
second
this
day he had
guy?
it.
I mean, he was young. You know, that's all
16
I'm
years
saying. He
old,
was young.
yeah.
Nah, but I mean, come on. Who doesn't know you put gas in there? Bro.
Uh,
So
yeah,
he
No,
ran out of
bro.
gas. He filled the shit up with a gallon of water.
how far did he make it before the blue?
Wow.
I don't know.
Bro,
I know he
got an
didn't make it.
H2O car. Oh my God.
Oh,
I remember when them
God.
dropped. There was the 645, and I was like, "Damn, that car was ahead of its time." You used to have the boxy 3 or 5 series, and then you had the 6 series drop. It was like, what? That shit looked like a spaceship.
Yeah, that sounds quite tough.
I had a 7 Series. That's even more of a spaceship. Those things were like the long
The
wheelbase
old
Range
school
Rovers,
7
man.
series, those
Yep,
were gangster.
Mm.
The
Yep.
edgy ones, though. Oh man.
Yep. Sky blue color. Yep. Yeah, man, that thing was just mad, bro. You had to know how to fucking park. That thing was huge. Huge.
Yeah, that shit.
Then I
Yeah,
changed
Boat
to
John.
brakes like a boat.
I changed to no, bro, don't get a BMW, bro. You're just gonna pay for parts all day long.
Unless you live in
I got a
Germany, don't
Cayenne
get a
after
BMW.
that. Yeah, I got a
Yeah,
Cayenne
no.
after
Yeah,
that.
but what do you
and
mean? That's the
then
same thing. It's
Well,
also
Cayenne, right? Cayenne?
I
Yeah.
got a Cayenne.
That's
Yeah,
German
S.
too, no?
Same shit. Problem
Porsche.
with the suspension, bro. Yeah, Porsche. And then got after that Land Rover, the LR4s, which are discontinued now, like since 2019 or 2018. And bro, I can't have a car that's not an SUV anymore. So I'm looking at a GLE or something like that. I'm looking to buy something right now, but I just can't go back
More
to Beamers, man.
spacious.
Yeah, I mean, I need it now, obviously, with the family I want to get that's going to grow. And after I'm going to get the Mercedes V220, you know, the big, huge buses, like you can fit like 12 people in there. I'm going to be getting a bigger family than Wix's, so.
You see this fuckery? Now the Fed's saying they're gonna have to update to just one rate cut the rest of the year and maybe one rate cut
No.
next year. So
They
that's
be
the
manipulating.
that's the fuckery, bro. Because this was driving down,
What
right?
asshole?
Probably expecting a rate cut eventually, and then or this push up, right? Expecting some rate cuts eventually, and now they're walking that back a little, and Trump's reacting to it. Trump said, "I call him too late Powell because he's always too late."
Aha, he began on Powell.
So Asian session might just go nuts then
He
tonight.
said, "Every time I said rate cuts needs to be cut, I was right and he was wrong. I call him too late Powell."
Is that what Trump just tweeted?
No, that's what he's saying live on camera.
Oh, he's live.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's it. They just
Too late, Powell.
cut away from him.
Hey yo, and when you be talking like him 2 weeks, he be
This
like
guy.
China.
Yeah. His facial expressions are crazy.
One of a kind.
Can't find your what? Right there. Yours are on that chair. The ones you were wearing. Everything you took off, put on that chair. What is it doing? This level sucks, right? Across the board. That's where it comes up quite a few times. There's room. We're 30 minutes into this, it did nothing. I think we'll have more clarity in about 10 minutes as they start talking. If it doesn't move, it doesn't move. I mean, that's gonna be it.
Like consolidating.
I don't know what it's doing, but it's 4 minutes 20 seconds till this candle closes, which means 4:20. I can get some stuff done. Oh, that's really pretty. Very cute. Very cute. It might be your sister's shirt. Oh, your hair is really wet in the back. Please wipe it because your whole shirt is soaked now. Get your towel. You know how to wipe it? You gotta rub it. Go. Go, grab your towel. I don't know where you put it. You wanna get out? Grab that towel, wipe your hair, and then you can dry off right now. Just in the sun. Take your goggles off too. Walking around looking like Scuba Steve. Yeah, put him down over there. It's not really dry, but okay. What? Well, wrap it around yourself.
All those 4 hours stacked right there in the same spot.
That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted the volume from this to do to get us out of this.
Mm-hmm. It's looking more bearish. It's bullish. It's looking bullish, but it's looking like looking to the left, like you said, looking like it's gonna come down again. At least one more whole candle to about like 33.05.
Just a lot of resistance. Every time we've come up, we've just bounced down.
Yep. And looking at the daily, we went that area and goodbye, right down. Ooh, goodbye, down.
Problem is,
we've rejected already.
Problem is, it's high volatility news. We don't it's not gonna care what level we're at. It's like, you know, it's gonna depend. The sentiment is gonna depend on Powell's tone.
No, yeah, I've learned that. That man speaks is over. Real manipulative when he speaks in the future. Oh, so that means not now. Let's put in sales now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you seen the meme from Ponke Solana or something like that? I forgot his name. Where he shows Powell getting to the podium and just says "Good afternoon," and it just dumps.
Yeah, I've seen that, John.
My God, bro!
Skyrockets.
Depends on his way of saying something, depends on his tone, and then you'll see the market go up and down, absolutely stupid.
If this guy says we're not cutting rates the rest of the year, Trump's just going to announce a war.
Yeah, he's
just going to spite in spite of him.
Fighting.
You know, drop gold? Nah. Wartime.
Absolutely ridiculous. And by the way, guys, the promo for Top 1 Futures using code WIX is still giving you a 55% discount. Yeah. I think it's going to be.
It was supposed to go away, I think, today, but still 55%, not 50.
Till Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So take advantage. I just bought 3 instant funded accounts. I prefer those than the S2F.
Is anyone doing the 7? 7 is crazy.
Yeah, I was doing one of those, and then on one day I lost 800, and I didn't want to trade again anymore. And then I made 400 next day, and I'm like, oh shit, I just screwed myself. Because it's the minus 800 plus the 400. It's not minus, it's 800 plus 400, which is 1200. And then you divide that by the total profit to calculate your 30% ECC. And I was like, no. So I can't have a loss bigger than like 200, and I can't have a high profit either. So I'd rather do the 20% consistency, because that way the loss doesn't affect me. And so I blew those account, and I was like, all right, let me just buy 3 instant funded. I prefer those instead, to be honest with you, personally. The way
I did 2 of them, Johns, but I end up blowing them. Like 2 weeks ago when Wicks mentioned it, I got the John with his name and the 55 all together, and got a 10K one, but it didn't last more than 3 days.
3 days?
A 10K account? Okay.
Yeah, I blew that. See, look, here's my issue, Wicks. I'm a beast. I'm nasty with what I'm doing. Like in the last 2 days, I made like 16K in an Apex test. I'm trying to pass the 300. I'm only doing 2-3 contracts, risking, but I see everything on the market. I see everything on the charts, like everything you've taught me, everything I've learned from Don. I mean, you name it, whoever I apply it all, and when I'm in the mix. Walking away is my biggest issue, bro.
You're not allowed in a casino, bro. You never leave.
Walking away is the biggest issue that I have. I've passed 10 to 15 funders. I've passed the 300 like 3 times. I mean, from last night to today, mind you, only like 10 or 12 trades, 15 grand. Easy, like that. But it's like, okay, now chill and walk away for the day, come back tomorrow. If I take a loss, the revenge is like, I got to get rid of those bad habits. That's all. And I'm there now listening to y'all all the time, and, little by little. So I've been doing a lot better in the last 2 weeks.
All right.
I got a little carried away with the 10 grand count. It's different when I have more leverage. I feel like more at home. I don't know how to explain that. And then when I have a live account, yeah, I can build 50 to 500, 80 to 800. I can 10 times my money. But when it's at a certain amount on the account, I want it to grow more. And then a little bit of a loss becomes a bigger loss. I don't stop, so bad habits I got to shake off and stuff.
It remains to be seen how these developments might affect future spending and investment.
Yo, why can't I track the mini
summary
player
of
here?
economic projections, the median participant projects GDP to rise 1.4% this year and 1.6% next year, somewhat slower than projected in March. In the labor
Oh, sorry.
I'm listening to it at the same time, so it's like I'm hearing it double.
remains low and has stayed in a narrow range for the past year. Wage growth has continued to moderate while still outpacing inflation. Overall, a wide set of indicators suggests that conditions in the labor market are broadly in balance and consistent with maximum employment. The labor market is not a source of significant inflationary pressures. The median projection for the unemployment rate in the SEP is 4.5% at the end of this year and next, a bit higher than projected in March. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.3% over the 12 months ending in May, and that, excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.6%. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up over recent months, as reflected in both market and survey-based measures. Respondents to surveys of consumers, businesses, and professional forecasters point to tariffs as the driving factor. Beyond the next year or so, however, most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation this year is 3%.
Okay, go inside, go change.
Higher than projected in March. The median inflation projection falls to 2.4% in 2026 and 2.1% in 2027. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 4.25% to 4.5% and to continue reducing the size of our balance sheet. We will continue to determine the appropriate stance of monetary policy based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. Changes to trade, immigration, fiscal, and regulatory policies continue to evolve, and their effects on the economy remain uncertain. The effects of tariffs will depend, among other things, on their ultimate level. Expectations of that level, and thus of the related economic effects, reached a peak in April and have since declined. Even so, increases in tariffs this year are likely to push up prices and weigh on economic activity. The effects on inflation could be short-lived, reflecting a one-time shift in the price level. It's also possible that the inflationary effects could instead be more persistent. Avoiding that outcome will depend on the size of the tariff effects, on how long it takes for them to pass through fully into prices, and ultimately on keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our obligation is to keep longer-term inflation expectations well anchored and to prevent a one-time increase in the price level from becoming an ongoing inflation problem. As we act to meet that obligation, we will balance our maximum employment and price stability mandates, keeping in mind that without price stability, we cannot achieve the long periods of strong labor market conditions that benefit all Americans. We may find ourselves in the challenging scenario in which our dual mandate goals are in tension. If that were to occur, we would consider how far the economy is from each goal and the potentially different time horizons over which those respective gaps would be anticipated to close. For the time being, we are well positioned to wait to learn more about the likely course of the economy before considering any adjustments to our policy stance. In our SEP, FOMC participants wrote down their individual assessments of an appropriate path for the federal funds rate based on what each participant judges to be the most likely scenario going forward. The median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 3.9% at the end of this year, the same as projected in March. The median projection declines to 3.6% at the end of next year and to 3.4% at the end of 2027, a little higher than the March projection. These individual forecasts are always subject to uncertainty, and as I've noted, uncertainty is unusually elevated. And of course, these projections are not a committee plan or decision. At this meeting, the committee continued its discussions as part of our 5-year review of our monetary policy framework. We focused on issues related to assessing the risks and uncertainties that are relevant for monetary policy and the potential implications for policy strategy and communications.
No, the mini player doesn't want to float over this
Our review
screen.
includes outreach and public
It
events
floats over my
involving
other
a wide
screen.
range of parties, including Fed Listens events around the country and a research conference that we held last month. We are open to new ideas and critical feedback, and we will take on board lessons of the last 5 years in determining our findings. We intend to wrap up any modifications to our statement on longer-run goals and monetary policy strategy by late summer. After that, we will consider enhancements to our suite of communications tools, including the SEP. The Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission, and we at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you. I look forward to your questions.
Talk about saying a lot without saying anything.
Thank you. Colby Smith with the New York Times. To what extent has the more limited impact from tariffs at this stage on inflation changed your view on what the ultimate economic fallout will be from these policies and the timing of when they will materialize in the data?
So we've had 3 months of favorable inflation readings since the high readings of January and February, and that's, of course, highly welcome news. Part of that just is that services, core services, both housing services and non-housing services, have really been grinding down toward levels that are consistent with 2% inflation. So that's the good news. We've had goods inflation just moving up a bit, and of course we expect, as you point out, we do expect to see more of that over the course of the summer. It takes some time for tariffs to work their way through the chain of distribution to the end consumer. A good example of that would be goods being sold at retailers today may have been imported several months ago before tariffs were imposed. So we're beginning to see some effects, and we do expect to see more of them over coming months. We do also see price increases in some of the relevant categories like personal computers and audiovisual equipment and things like that that are attributable to tariff increases. In addition, we look at surveys of businesses, and there are many of those, and you do see a range of things, but many companies do expect to put all or some or all of the effect of tariffs through to the next person in the chain, and ultimately to the consumer. Today, the amount of the amount of the tariff effects, the size of the tariff effects, their duration and the time it will take are all highly uncertain. So that is why we think the appropriate thing to do is to hold where we are as we learn more. And we think our policy stance is in a good place where we're well positioned to react to incoming developments.
So in terms of how we should interpret the rate cuts penciled into the SEP, is this reflecting that there's this expectation that underlying inflation will just stay well enough contained that allows the committee to eventually move ahead with those cuts? Or is it about responding to a deterioration in economic activity, let's say? I mean, how should we make sense of the forecast?
So if you look at the forecast, you will see that people do generally expect inflation to move up and then to come back down. But we can't just assume that. Of course, we don't know that. And our job is to make sure, one of our jobs is to make sure that a one-time increase in inflation doesn't turn into an inflation problem. And that, again, that will depend on the size of the effects, how long it takes for them to come in, and ultimately on keeping inflation expectations anchored.
Hi, and thanks, Chair Powell. Howard Schneider with Reuters. If you look at the rate path starting in December to today and adjust it over the full time horizon you've got there, you've taken about a quarter point per year out of your projected path, and you end at a higher rate at end 2027 than you would have in the prior forecast. Is that a result of a sense that tariffs will lead to more persistent inflation? Is it a result of reassessments of where your short-term neutral rate is? Why are you on a slower path now?
So I would focus most on the nearer term as you get out to the later years. It's hard for anybody to know where the economy is going. You didn't see people moving their longer term, estimate of the neutral rate, for example, at this meeting. So and those things are probably slow moving. So I think if you look at what's happened.
Is green here?
Since March, this is since March, right? You see a little slower growth, just a tiny tick up, a 1/10 tick up in unemployment, and you see inflation moving up 0.3. And by the way, it was a similar move from the December SEP to the March.
Not
so
here.
That's what you see. You see the effects of tariffs. I think we learned in April after the March meeting that substantially higher tariffs were likely, and then since then, the estimates of where the tariffs will be have actually moved back down, although still at an elevated level. So we're adapting in real time, and what you see is an accumulation of individual assessments.
You say in the statement that risks have diminished on that front, but the July 9th, drop dead date for all the Liberation Day tariffs is still out there and unresolved. You've got now exchange of missiles between two Middle East adversaries with a possible U.S. involvement. How can you justify saying that risks have diminished?
So what we said was that uncertainty uncertainty about the economic outlook has diminished but remains elevated. Many surveys say that.
Why are you asking if green here?
That's actually a line from the Teal book.
I miss him. I miss green.
Remember to check.
Yeah, he was here this morning.
No,
I'm not mistaken.
Think about it. Tariff
But
uncertainty.
he ain't here now.
Really peaked.
He's probably taking a break.
And since then has come down. And that's really what that's just acknowledging. It's diminished, but still elevated. And that it's uncertainty. So I think that's an accurate statement.
Thank you. Chris Rugaber of Associated Press. There is an argument out there in favor of cutting rates more immediately. Inflation has continued to cool and is back at roughly 2% despite the tariffs. And I guess I also wanted to ask about cracks in the job market with gross hiring slowing, concentrated in just a few industries. We've seen some housing data including this morning, that have been pretty weak. Do you see any concerns that the economy is weakening and that is a reason to cut rates going forward?
So we do of course monitor all those things. I think if you look at the overall picture, what you're seeing is 4.2% unemployment and an economy that's growing at a rate hard to know given the unusual flows in the first quarter, but it appears to be 1.5%, 2%.
We're coming down here.
Better than that. Sentiment has come up off of its very low levels. It's still depressed. So you can point to things. The housing market is a longer run problem.
And the bottom weight just created it.
I don't think it's indicative of, basically the situation is we have a longer run shortage of housing, and we also have high rates right now. I think the best thing we can do for the housing market is to restore price stability in a sustainable way and create a strong labor market, and that's the best thing we can do for the housing market. You asked about the job market. Again, look at labor force participation, look at wages, look at job creation. They're all at healthy levels now. I would say you can see perhaps a very, very slow continued cooling, but nothing that's troubling at this time. But we watch it very, very carefully. So overall, again, the current stance of monetary policy leaves us well positioned to respond in a timely way to economic developments. And for now,
Gold's being ugly.
We'll be watching the data carefully.
Well, just quickly on, given that there are concerns inflation will rise, but there is the alternate scenario that tariffs would create demand destruction and slow growth sufficiently, and that would perhaps keep a bit of a lid on inflation. Do you see odds of that scenario? What kind of odds do you see of that scenario coming true, and how many months of cool inflation would you need to see before concluding that maybe that lower inflation scenario is taking place?
So this is very much the conversation we had today and yesterday. There are many, many different scenarios, many combinations of scenarios where inflation does or doesn't prove out to be at the levels we think, and where the labor market does or doesn't soften. And I think what you see people doing is looking ahead at a time of very high uncertainty and writing down what they think the most likely case is. No one holds these rate paths with a great deal of conviction, and everyone would agree that they're all going to be data dependent, and that you can make a case for any of the rate paths, I think, that you see in the SEP. And we do this once a quarter. It's a hard thing to do particularly at this time, but it does reflect. If you see somebody writing down a rate path that involves cuts, that's them saying, yes, I think we will get to a place, more likely than not, where cuts will be appropriate. And it could be a joint probability of a number of possible outcomes. Again, remember how much uncertainty we face, though.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I wonder if you could describe for us some of those scenarios. How do you get to a place? I'm noticing that the uncertainty levels in your forecast are very high. How do you get to a place where you have the confidence in the outlook for, say, inflation and or growth or the unemployment rate? How many months does it take, and what do you want to see in the data to get to that level of confidence to actually reduce rates off the restrictive level?
So it's very, very hard to say when that will happen. We know that the time will come. It could come quickly. It could not come quickly. As long as the economy is solid, though, as long as we're seeing the kind of labor market that we have and reasonably decent growth and inflation moving down, we feel like the right thing to do is to be where we are, where our policy stance is, and just learn more. And
wow, so he wants to stick to these rates
over the summer on tariffs. We hadn't expected them to show up.
That's why it's coming down
by now, and they haven't. And we will see to the extent to which they do over coming months. And I think that's going to inform our thinking, for one thing. In addition, we'll see how the labor market progresses. So at some point it will become clear. I can't tell you exactly when that will be. And meanwhile, we'll be watching the labor market very carefully.
It's going to come
down.
down.
Signs of weakness and strength, and tariffs for signs of what's going to happen there. And of course, there are many developments ahead. Even in the near term, developments are expected on tariffs. So I think we don't yet know with any confidence where they will settle out. We have an estimate, and it's I think all estimates are now pretty close together, but it's highly uncertain.
When you say estimate of the impact of tariffs on the core PCE, is that what it is? And could you share that?
Yeah, what you start with is what's the effective tariff rate overall, and people are managing to that. But you know, the pass-through of tariffs to consumer price inflation is a whole process that's very uncertain. You know, as you know, there are many parties in that chain. There's the manufacturer, the exporter, the importer, the retailer, and the consumer. And each one of those is going to be trying not to be the one to pay for the tariff. But together, they will all pay for it together, or maybe one party will pay it all. But that process is very hard to predict. And we haven't been through a situation like this. And I think we have to be humble about our ability to forecast it. So that's why we need to see some actual data to make better decisions. We'd like to get some more data. And again, in the meantime, we can do that because the economy remains in solid condition.
Nick Tamarosa of the Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, I guess I'm wondering if you could explain a little bit more the divergence we see in the dot plot, particularly around the 2025 rate projections.
Divergence? He looking at the RSI.
Officials that are putting down no cuts, another that are putting down more than one. And again, recognizing that could be difficult to summarize, but is it a matter of people having a different outlook or a different reaction function, a different commitment to defending against another inflation mistake? How did that
All right.
play out?
Go to hell. So, doesn't sound like they're really expecting rates to cut, or rates to be cut anytime soon. Yeah. This is very dovish now. We got 8 minutes here. I'm gonna close this hourly candle. See what it does. Plummet here. 52. It's a strong drop. I'd expect this candle to be heavy too, up or down. Look at a rebreak of the lows. Yeah, let's wait for the actual closure outside there. Plummet, plummet. Does that mean gold stays in range potentially? Yeah. It does. It could also potentially break down. Oh wow. That's really good toothpaste. You really did a good job brushing. I think we've ranged hard enough, right? It's time to drive out of here, which means maybe another 60 pip drop here in a split second. I need some closures. 4 minutes here for a closure. And if we don't get none, we don't get in. Plus 50 on sells. Gotta take us beforehand. Tell us beforehand. Rebreak of the 4 hour, the hourly flip. Makes sense. Yeah, I just wasn't fucking around with this range. Good read. If I tell you, then it goes the other way. Yeah. Got 1 minute here. And it's at a 4 hour support here. Interesting. That's an ugly ass closure. One hour closed at the 1 hour level. Current 1 hour and opened up bottom wick first, which means if you flip bullish, you can start holding support. Give me a sec. Yeah, that's an ugly closure. Close barely a bottom wick, right at support, right at the 1 hour level. Yeah, I'll be here for the next 15-30 minutes as long as it does something. But we do not want to be in this range. And I don't want to take sells here without a top wick on the 1 hour or a closure below. So we're probably going to wait on this 15. See if we could either get a top wick or a closure below or both. And go from there. Nice. Eddie fucking secured 150 pips while working, while being at work. That's the more impressive part. You're not just sitting at home at the computer. You're the guy's working. Good job. I think I learned how to do circles. Yeah. It's a useless fucking ability. That's a useless talent. Nothing here, gang. Got nothing here at the moment. And this closure is not inspiring either, right? Right at this level, no top wick here. That's not too inspiring. Karen Reed found not guilty. Who's Karen Reed? She's got to be guilty. Her name's Karen. God damn it, Karen. Not guilty on second-degree murder, manslaughter. Who's Karen Reed? Anybody know? How come you do lives while you have a service? I don't know. One doesn't interfere with the other. Oh, I read about this. She ran into her boyfriend, who was a cop, with her car. Yeah, definitely not guilty. Yep, definitely a mistake. I remember hearing about this a while back. We've kind of tapped this target, this support here. Previous candle, no bottom wick. Can we start forming some strong bullish candles? Here's the deal. If this 15 can close bullish, or even if this 15 can close bearish, but the 30 close bullish, right? So if we see something like this, right? This would on the next 15. That means the 30 will close like this. Which means if we can get a bottom wick here and then flip bullish, I would look for this. And on a smaller time frame, it would just be that same bottom wick. I mean, if it doesn't break out of here. If we break down, I'm gonna need some kind of range to be created, because if there's no range, any kind of stop is arbitrary. The clear stops are above the most recent range, which would be about 250 pips. I don't know how you run over your boyfriend or a human being and don't notice it. I mean, I guess anything can happen, right? I'm saying, like, if I run over a rock, I feel it. Right? A squirrel, I definitely feel it. If I hit a chair or a table, I feel it. But a human being, a whole ass person, yeah, like, I even know which part of the body I hit if you ride over it. You can tell by the thumps. Thump, 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 thump. Excuse me. Boston. I've been in Boston. They throw the best tea parties. No, Benny, that's enough. Buy or sell? Oh, I don't know. Looks like ass and feet for now. It's got to set up. Either we pull back up in range, form a support, and we can look for some buys. But on this 4 hour, look at this 4 hour range. This is trash. But on this 4 hour, I would rather honestly probably have sells here to the 4 hour. Support at 84 to fill this wick here. That's what I'd rather do. I'd rather get this closure, belowsure, a bit of a range on a 15 and drive down. Is that what's going to happen? I don't know. We got to wait. There's less than 2 hours in the daily candle. You can legitimately say the market didn't give much. We should do a giveaway. How do you guys want to do a giveaway? You know what we do? Go comment on today's reel. Go comment on today's reel, and we'll use a random comment picker. Yeah, go follow that IG and go comment on today's reel. Give you guys about 5 minutes to do that. Hey, where's Kaya? Oh, yeah.
Wix, I see it. You're not there, but we just had another dump and it broke through all the levels.
Of course it did. This fucking thing. Yes. Powell gave a really Dovish vibe. Trying to make it home by FOMC, but my client, who's a hedge fund manager, wanted to wait until after FOMC to meet with me. But he doesn't know I'm a funded trader. Shit. Alright. 15 opening here. The only thing I don't like is no top wick here on the 30, right? There's a chance this flips. But if the 15 can break this high, I'll look to have some sell stops on the flip. I want to get a top wick here on this 1 hour. Right, it doesn't have a top wick. And it doesn't owe one, but I would like one. Not a big fan of any flip here. Unless this flips but doesn't drive and can hold a small range here, I can look to enter. It's only a 15 closure, and we've seen these 15 closures outside the range initially come right back into range on the 30, especially with not having a top wick on the 30 or the 1 hour. Right, look at this. See this bullish candle? At some point, that candle looked like this, right? There was a point in time where this candle was like this. And still closed bullish. No matter how bearish this looks, I need confirmations. See, 15 close below, next candle just sky high. There's no valid stop here. Let's say there was a range created, right? Up to this candle. Like if we came down here previously. Right, and kind of messed around here. Created some sort of range and then did this like we're doing right now. As we're pulling up here on this candle, we can look for a sell and have a stop above here, right? Off these areas, because that gives us a solid stop. Right now there's no stop up until here. Whereas if we had that, probably we could have a 27 pip stop and we're probably in there on a top wick and a break even by now. Looking to fill that wick. But we don't have a range created that we can use as a stop. Maybe on the 5. Scary. Let's see if we get this 30 to close. There's a lot of range to come down here to the left. Just want some closures. I respect it, huh? 40 pips there. Let's get a closure. Give me this 5 closure below. Yeah, I think this might come down here. Chat, let's have a sell stop here on the break of this 15 low. Gave it a solid chance to come up here. 5 closed above, right? It's coming back up. If it now re-breaks the low, I think we should be good to go. It came down, gave a bottom wick, pumped up. All right, I think we're activated here. Yep, we are activated. Sorry, I'm not taking it on the funded because the funded's pretty much at its limit. So, short position. I have stops here right now. Six minutes away from the 30. Expecting it to close below here. We broke the low again. Okay, I'm gonna close. No, I'm not. Didn't close anything. I was just about to close partials, and while I was changing the lot size, I didn't close anything. Yeah, right around 19, 20 pips. I wanted to close partials. Right there, close partials, and now I just have a runner and stops to break even. Let me get rid of this. And stops are to break even. So maybe makes a top wick and then comes down, but maybe comes down now, but stops are to be. And they're about to be hit. Oof. That was interesting. think stops are gonna get hit here. We're about a pip away. Rebroke again. Rebroke the low again. Yeah, I closed 80% of the position at around 12 pips here. 12 pips of profit. At least our stops are right above this wick, so if it breaks the highs, right, the wick should be steeper, it should come up. At least there's that. What's the fill of this wick? 38. Keep it at 56 it was. This wick to the left. Yeah, full TP 33.85 here. Boom, full TP smacked. W. 51 pips on the runner. W. Spam some fucking dubs, chat. Alright, quick little profit timeout. Did a little marketing. Congrats everybody, you all got scammed for 51 pips. How much do I scale out? I closed 11 once we rebroke these lows. I thought we were this top wick, right? We made a low. Once we retested that low, I closed 80%. And then remember I said, the good thing is once we made the top wick for the next candle, our stops are actually right above that wick. So if we break that high, that's if you were trailing the If you were trailing stops, that's where you would trail them too. Right? Yeah, shit's... It's kind of what we waited for. Is this going to keep coming down? I mean, it's 3:30. But we said... Oh, this fucking song, man. Remember we said Powell was very dovish today. So, I mean, all I did, I was just looking for this wick right here. Remember I said that's where I'm extending my TP to, and everything after that is just going to have to wait till tomorrow. Oh, Asian session tonight. I'll be in the signal channel. Stops got hit on funded. W. So yeah, this is what we waited for. But yeah, I'll be in the signal channel. But tomorrow there's no annoyed my B got hit after closing partials. Yeah, you saw it. Mine was a pip, literally a pip away. And that's how I felt earlier today, right? Remember, I closed out. I went break even at BE, and literally like 8 seconds later, it was at full TP, and you guys enjoyed the profits, and my B got hit. Such is life. Fuck off, Jerome. Let us prosper. I feel that. Yeah, that's it. That's the session. Lovely FOMC. We spent a couple hours here. Thank you guys for spending a couple hours with me. We're finally at that goat shit range. Oh, yeah, it's terrible range. But remember, volume. FOMC, maybe it doesn't give direction, but, or, you know, fundamentally, maybe there's no change. Maybe it's all priced in, but volume should get us out of there. And hopefully we can start utilizing some of this clean range down now with Asian session. Oh yeah, giveaway. You know what? You guys showed up. Here, let's do it. I was gonna do a 25K, but let's do a 50K. Let's give away a 50K. Hold on. All right, there we go. A whole bunch of comments. Today's real. There we go. All right, you guys. Y'all ready for this? Let's go. $72 entries. And the winner is... Eddie. Oh, Abby. Abby, dead human. If that shit said Eddie, you know this shit is rigged. But this shit said Abby. Congrats, Abby. Ow, 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 my arm. Ah. Ooh. Ah. Y'all make my arm hurt. Congrats, Abby. Hold on. Abby with the 50K. Congratulations. Thank you for showing up. Hold on. I got to take a photo. Abby, you in here? What do I say about New York session tomorrow? I will say take the day off. Enjoy your day. Markets move, driven by algos, unpredictable. Typically, historically, less volume, but for the last couple of years, days off have just been drives, just driving. No pullbacks, nothing, just drives. So if you can guess the direction, great. Damn, I lost count of how many wins in a row. Doesn't matter. So yeah, no New York session tomorrow. I will trade tonight in the signal channel, right? But outside of that, tomorrow there will be no New York session. If I take any positions, obviously you guys will see it in the signal channel. But probably no trading after tonight's Asian session until tomorrow's Asian session. And then we'll be back in full swing of things on Friday. Okay? Friday we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming. Right. Let's would you recommend taking 50% off? That's really that's personal preference. Up to you how much you want to secure, how much you want to leave. It really depends on your relationship with money and like your goals, what you're looking for, you know, your comfort levels. That's a really individualistic question. It just depends on the individual. Oh yeah, Eddie should be streaming Asian tonight, right? Eddie, are you still on YouTube or you're on Twitch now? Anybody know? Well, look for him. Join our clubhouse, our Discord, free Discord, and then you'll get updates in there when he's going live. There's like 1,100 people, almost 1,200 people in there. So join up. Let's grow that community. It's free. There are paid channels, but it's free. And make sure, since tomorrow's a day off, perfect day to go and load up on your funded accounts. All right, 55% off, and Friday is when that deal's over. So you really only have these 2 days. All right, after that, it's bye-bye, 55% off. I think it's also bye-bye 7 accounts to copy trade. So if you're going to do that, do it now. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys tonight in the Signal channel. Let's call it a session. Zoom gang, thank you very much for hanging out with me. Iron Chasers, I see you in the car. You're going to chase that iron, right? Yeah, you're going to lift. I see that. I wish I could join you, man. I'm dying to get back in the gym. I fucking feel like a noodle. I've shriveled up here over the last 2 months.
Oh, you will? You're going to be stronger than ever. Watch.
Yeah, when I'm going to be extra motivated.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Ask Wanda. Look into it. I have put it in the chat. It's for
I got it. I got some
receptors.
ashwagandha. Yeah, I got turmeric, curcumin, ashwagandha. I got a whole bunch.
If you herb your life, nothing can touch you. Not even sprains. If you herb your life every single day.
Trust me, I herb my life every day. I
ran into that.
I'm all about that herbal life.
Me too.
Herbals, baby. It's all about them herbals.
You already know, Kenny.
All right, fam. I'm gonna see you guys in the clubhouse. Mods, thank you for helping me run the stream. My guy wasn't here. And yeah, chat. Love and wisdom to you all. I'm gonna run here. And yeah, my time here is up. And just like that, another FOMC session is in the books.